Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, we are going to discuss a very interesting topic around who could be the actual next Mr. Warren Buffett. Now, before I jump into explaining more about that person, it is important for us to understand what type of investors do we have. So on the right hand side of the spectrum, we have traditional investors like Mr. Warren Buffett, Mr. Ray Dalio, Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Mr. Radhakrishnan Dhamani. So they pick up proper businesses which are established, they invest in equities, they invest in bond market, they make strategic investments through private equity VC routes also. So these are traditional investments, how it has existed for the last 100 years at least. But times change and new type of investors also come into the market, new asset classes develop. So this brings us to the left hand side of the spectrum. Now we have a bunch of investors who are playing around with new age instruments, new age assets. Now before you drop off, because Akshat, you are going to say and talk about cryptocurrencies, yes and no? No, in the sense that I'm going to talk more about blockchain today rather than cryptocurrencies per se. And I'm going to talk about the video game market as to how investors are making insane amount of money via investing in video games, and more importantly, how you and I can do it too. Now, this is a financial education channel. I'm not here to judge different asset classes. My job is to make you aware of the investment universe that is out there. For example, let me give you a very quick example that all of us will 100% agree with. So in India, if I were to ask you, what major change has happened in finance, what would be your answer? One of your key answers would be that Akshat, a lot of fintech companies have come up and a lot of startup financing has come up. This is a changing trend, right? I mean, if you go back 20 years ago, startup financing was not that big in India. But now every person wants to run a startup. Every college student wants to build a startup. Why? Because new age financing is coming into the startup world. Similarly, something futuristic is happening right under our nose, and we should be sensible in terms of at least trying to understand more about this trend. So please take this video from a learning and education perspective. I'm not asking you to go and make investments. Just study this asset class more and understand how new age investors are coming up and investing in new age instruments and making insane amount of money. And at least we should be aware of what is happening in the market. So very few YouTubers are able to simplify complex topics like blockchain. I'm going to help you understand it. If you have never even heard of the word blockchain before, I will help you understand the fundamentals and investment opportunity in this. Okay, so let me start the story by talking a little bit about a video game that all of us understand. So let's talk about Mario. So all of us would have played that game. I grew up playing that game literally. And if we were to go back in time and if I were to ask you a question that, you know what, would you invest in a company like Mario? Your answer most likely would be yes. I love that game. My parents also play it. My brother, younger sister also play it. Everyone in my house plays it. It's a fabulous, fabulous game. And it looks like a winning product and I will 100% invest in that video game. If you would have invested in that game, you would have made insane amount of money. So here is an article on Mario. As of June 2021, the Super Mario series has sold 388 million copies and has generated more than 22 billion in estimated sales revenue. 22 billion, right? So it's a big game. Now Nintendo, which is the parent company of Mario, is listed in the stock market. Now of course it launches a bunch of products, so its entire stock price is not driven only by Mario but bunch of different factors. But the point that I'm trying to drive home is that when you talk to people about Mario, for example, someone who does not understand about the video game industry, and you tell them that, you know what, I'm playing this really interesting game called as Mario, I see great market potential in it. Should I hypothetically become an investor in that? Now, a lot of people will tell you that, you know what, you're mad. No one really believes in that Mario concept. But the history has proven us wrong. That game has generated $22 billion in sales, which is massive. Now, anyone who would have invested in Mario, be it the creators, be it the team, they would all be multimillionaires, easily speaking. So the key takeaway from our discussion so far is that video game is a fascinating space. Mario in the past, from our childhood, has been a massive money-making machine. And video games that are being launched today, some of them will become massive money-making engines going forward in the future. So if there is a way for us to identify and invest in good projects or good video gaming projects, why not do it? So that's my simple point. Now, of course, take it as like a startup investment journey, and you must learn about all these basic business concepts because it helps you in your stock market journey also. So, all right, now coming back to the topic, since you have understood that, okay, video game industry, good, great, booming, some great projects are being launched, but I clicked on this video to figure out the next Warren Buffett, who is the next Warren Buffett and what strategy he or she is using. So without further ado, in my opinion, the next Mr. Warren Buffett would be Mr. Beast. Now, there are multiple reasons why that will happen, but for people who do not know who Mr. Beast is, he's a YouTuber, he's a very young YouTuber. He has approximately 72 million followers on his YouTube channel, and he's aggressively investing on the left hand side of the spectrum where I started the story from. So he's investing in cryptos, he's investing in NFTs, he's investing in video gaming industry, and he understands this space really, really well. He's taking a completely different route in his investment journey, and he is investing in an asset called as Metaverse. I will talk about that video game, and I'll talk about how you can go and invest in that also. But very quickly, for people who are still not convinced that, okay, video game, it looks like so fishy. So let me share a couple of statistics with you. Okay, so if we take a look at the video game industry, you will see that the global market size is $151 billion in 2019. And the interesting part is that the CAGR, or the growth rate of this industry forecasted between 2020 and 2027 is 13%. This is point one. Point two is that video game has had a very traditional approach. For example, there will be some kind of skins, there will be some kind of paid membership, there can be some kind of TV series around it, which will help these video game companies to make money as of now. But going forward, there are a lot of new concepts that are coming up around NFTs. For example, hypothetically speaking, if you're playing GTA San Andreas, right? So that was one of the games that I used to play. For example, if you have to buy a new car or a new gun, then what you do is that you will pay GTA 1000 rupees to buy that new gun. So essentially what you're doing is that you're buying a virtual asset by transacting your real currency. Now, NFT are essentially like this, but they give you an option of converting that virtual currency and selling it to someone on the blockchain network and recouping your real money. I'll explain that point further in the video. NFT market is such that it allows you to buy virtual assets like a gun or a car within a video game with real money. This is how traditionally video games have functioned, but they go a step further. They allow you to trade that virtual NFT on the virtual world itself or in the real world and get real money back. So these NFT becomes an investable product. And this is what new age video games are doing. And this has become a massive revenue potential for video games. Now, this is a very important concept for you to understand. So I will just draw it out and explain it very, very quickly, right? So for example, right now you're playing a bunch of traditional video games. Now here what you're doing is that you're putting money from your real world, right? So for example, let's say that you pay $100 to GTA to buy a gun, right? A virtual gun, and you buy a virtual car, right? Now you have to exhaust these assets in the GTA universe itself, right? You can't do anything with it. You can't do anything with it, and you can't even convert back your money. But with these new age video games, you can take this NFT, right? Or these NFT, you can play with it. You can unlock some NFT within the games itself, and you can trade it with real money, so to say. Now, before I explain you the investment options in the video game and give you a couple of examples of coins which you can start looking at, let me explain you 3 or 4 very important concepts around blockchain, right? So first and foremost, what exactly is blockchain and what is the utility of it? A lot of people assume that, cryptos are fluff, blockchain is fluff, this, that. So I'll show you the real value of blockchain just in a minute. So blockchain is nothing but just a ledger system, and everyone else can see it, that who is writing stuff on this, and they can verify it, that the data that is being put here is correct or not. So why blockchain? So blockchain simply means that there are these different ledgers or data that gets interconnected with each other in a form of a chain, right? So this is a chain. This data chain keeps on linking with each other, and you are able to store a lot of data on this. Now, the second point that you need to understand is that how do we verify this blockchain? For example, this is an open ledger, right? This is a ledger. Anyone can come and write data on this. So how exactly are you going to verify this? So there are 2 techniques that are being used or are in existence right now. One is called as proof of work, and the second is called as proof of stake, right? So proof of work is something like Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is essentially based on the proof of work technology. What it simply means is that you have mining, right? So what does mining means? Now, how does the verification of data of Bitcoin happen? So Bitcoin has its own ledger, right? Or blocks of data that are being inputted. Now, proof of work simply says that, there is a community of miners, right? On this blockchain network. They will sit and verify that whatever transactions are happening, are they correct or not? And why would these miners do this work? Because they get a certain reward, a certain amount of Bitcoin if they are able to solve these puzzles for verification. So this is proof of work, where miners are asked to show that, hey, show us what work you have done. And what is the work? Work essentially means that what verification of this particular blockchain you have done, right? So this is the entire technology behind proof of work. Proof of stake, right? Now, this particular technology eats into a lot of electricity because all these miners deploy machines that consume a lot of electricity. On the flip side, we have another efficient system called as proof of stake. Now, proof of stake means that if you're on this particular network, for example, Cardano works on proof of stake method. And what it says is that, hey, if you're on this particular blockchain, then if you have stake in this blockchain, for example, if you have 100 coins on Cardano, then you have stake in this network. So the network will give you a ping randomly and you will have to check this transaction, and in return you will again get some coins. Now, because you have a stake in this network, of course you would not want to abuse the system, because whatever coins you are holding, they will go to waste if the network falls. Now, these mechanisms of proof of work and proof of stake, plus incentivizing them via the cryptocurrency network, has allowed us to strengthen this blockchain network and actually mobilize it. Now, this blockchain network is allowing us to create new functionalities, new type of games, new type of industries altogether, new type of smart contracts. So now let me give you one example of such a functionality where an entire video game has been designed on it and that coin has gotten listed. The coin name is Star Atlas, and let me show you some key features of this particular product. Okay, so this is the entire white paper of Star Atlas, and this is the entire functionality of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency network. So if you take a look at the entire white paper of Star Atlas, this is a listed coin, and I'll go back and show that to you as well. Now, here is a very interesting thing that what Star Atlas actually is. So it's a game, it's a virtual gaming metaverse based in the year 2620, right? And you can do a bunch of different things. You can fly planes, do this, do that, all the hoopla around any game. But let us very quickly take a look at it and let me explain why this is different from traditional video games. The metaverse introduces a unique gaming experience through the combination of both traditional core game and blockchain mechanics. So what are the blockchain mechanics? What I just generally explained. So essentially, what games like Star Atlas do is that they create a universe, and by using the blockchain technology, you stake your coins, because this is based on Solana's network and it works on proof of stake rather than proof of work technology. So it consumes less electricity. Now, in this entire universe, there are some hidden treasures that you can go and explore, right? And in return, what will you get? And you will get some form of cryptos. Now, if you're a crypto believer, you can keep your money in crypto. If not, then you can convert that into real money, so to say. So the bottom line that I'm trying to tell you is fairly simple, that these games are definitely going to go big in the coming future because of the functionality that blockchain has allowed us to execute. Now, this point is confirmed via this paragraph, so I'll ask my editor to link it here. So unlike most games in existence today, Star Atlas provides a unique opportunity for players to extract in-game virtual earnings into real-world income. Now, this is the central point of these new age video games, and that is the reason why massive investors like Mr. Beast are investing in these type of assets, and these assets have the potential to give immense returns in the future because they are literally disrupting the video gaming industry. Now, here is the entire financial data of Star Atlas, which is the game that I was talking about. It has a market cap of almost $200 million. More interestingly, these type of games, when they get launched, there's a lot of hype that is built around it. So it launched at $0.8. That was the ticket price for this. And it went up to 0.24. So almost your investment got 4x, 4 times in a matter of days, literally. And now it is trading back at its original price. And this is a normal feature, right? Of course, cryptocurrency trading involves a lot of volatility, a lot of risks, bunch of different things. No doubt about that. But I'm just talking about the fact, if you would have gotten in at Star Atlas right at the start by understanding its potential, you could have 4x'd your money. This is how the low cap altcoin market usually functions. Now, your obvious question would be that, Akshat, would you go and invest in Star Atlas right now? The answer is no. I will try to identify the next Star Atlas. So if I were to invest my money in a video game concept, it would be Meta Wars. Is this a listed coin? No, not right now. It will get listed. And here is some more data around this coin. And you can check the news that Mr. Beast joined Meta Wars' stellar army of backers. And if you actually read more about Meta Wars, you will find that who its partners are. So you will start seeing names like Polylauncher. Now, Polylauncher is a major platform through which investors or early stage investors can start putting in. And this can include people like you and me on how you can do it through Polylaunchers, but these are its partners. Having Mr. Beast as a supporter of this will improve its distribution. Now, you have Binance Smart Chain. Now, this is one of the most effective mediums to launch your product. New coins are getting listed on Binance. It really helps out that coin to gain traction in the market. So essentially, the journey of Meta Wars will not be too different from Star Atlas, at least at the time of launch. the potential is definitely 4x or even maybe more, because big investors are backing up this game and there is immense money to be made through this investment. So will I go and invest? The answer is yes, I will invest a little bit of amount. Again, this is not an investment advice. This is not something that I'm asking you to do. So please do your own due diligence. If you want to put in just a little bit of trade, if you believe in this story versus not, then I have written a couple of questions on Probo regarding this entire setup. You can check me making a trade here. So just to summarize, there are some very interesting investment opportunities that are coming up. If you understand these opportunities, it opens up an entire investment universe for you. A lot of big investors are already putting their money into this. The growth potential on these assets is massive because there is something called as multiplier. For example, if you pick a coin which only cost $1, so to say, it has the potential to go to 100x. But if you're investing in a company which is already like 1 trillion, for example, Tesla right now, it is unlikely that it will become like 100 trillion, right? So that will not happen. Of course, the volatility is more because you're doing startup based investing. This is not like stock trading or stock investing. That is different. But I'm also trying to teach you this type of investing. If you understand this, if you believe in these type of technology growth stories, and if you can understand these aspects, it's okay to go ahead and put a little bit of money here. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button and I will see you the next time.